Welcome back to another edition of Printing's Alive with me, your host, Warren Werbitt, the guy who loves print. Today we have another guest, special as always. This one all the way over from the other side of the pond. We have Lucy Swanston from Nutshell Creative. How you doing, Lucy?
I'm very well, thank you, Warren. How are you?
Good. First thing I want to ask you is do you always keep my book on your shelf or did you put it up there just for me? And if you keep it there all the time, that's okay.
I'm going to say it's always there, pride of place,
but you're lying.
Nothing about the strategic positioning of it.
All right. Well, I like it anyways.
It.
I'm gonna live with the fact that I think it's just there all the time, but I appreciate that. Thanks.
You do that.
I will. Okay, cool. So Lucy basically comes from the creative world. Lucy's involved in print. She works with printers. She works with OEMs. She's just back from Cannes. She says Cannes. She has a little charity that she started, Topic Hero. So we're going to touch on all that stuff in this session or podcast. Lucy, tell my viewers a little bit about you.
So I'm Lucy Swanston, as Warren very kindly introduced me there. Thank you for having me today, Warren. I'm not sure if I'm excited, nervous or indifferent at the moment, knowing you as I know. But we'll just go with it. So I set up Nutshell Creative 20 years ago, but I've actually been in the industry since I was 18. So I'll let you do the maths. It's a good 30 years. And originally started in a design agency, straight events agency, then moved into a print service provider that was quite diversified for it at its time, and had various different elements to that in terms of creative studio, photography, print manufacturing, etc. And then fast forward another 5 years, and that was when I set up Nutshell. So we are a full service marketing and creative agency that's based in a little market town called Stony Stratford, based in the UK. And we get involved in a lot of print, I think is safe to say. And I think from our conversations over the years, I think it's something, well, it's COVID actually that we met, wasn't it? On the Crown Pub. The Crown Pub, yeah. And everything we do kind of in the marketing mix or anything we do within life, we recognise within an agency that without print, it could be quite challenging if it wasn't around. So we very much advocate it as a marketing channel when it's right. And we also very much advocate it working with and complementing digital as well. So that's the agency side. I also are involved in quite a lot of trade associations and councils. I chair the Strategic Mailing Partnership in the UK, which is a professional body that represents the mailing community. So that's anything from the OEMs, the print service providers, the paper merchants, the technology providers, ink manufacturers, etc. And we have in the region of about 850 members now that all get together once a year. Actually, you need to come over for that, 25th of September this year at the Steelyard in London. So if you want to come and join the gang and get partying, we celebrate all things in mail, and we have a networking awards evening we probably have about 400 attendees. So that's the SMP side of things. And then Topic Heroes has been a bit of a labour of love over the years, something that I've been doing for more years than I care to remember, and quite frustrated by myself that I'm not further forward in achieving the goals that I want to achieve within the charity, but there's the data to deal with as well.
Listen, you got a lot on the plate. Nothing's easy, so I'm sure there's not a lot of time for a lot of things. And I don't think in life we ever spend enough time on the stuff that we really like to spend our time on.
It's true.
Right? Which is kind of unfortunate, but I'm trying to make a little change and do more of that as I go forward, since I've crossed the first half of my life, mark. I'm on the second half now, so try to make it a good one. A question about printers, basically. Do you think most printers understand how to speak the language of branding and marketing? I know the answer to that. I just want to hear from the other side. And
Um,
be as honest as you can, because I will.
I think that's too generalist. There are printers that absolutely do, and there's a lot of printers in the UK that 100% do, and there are printers that aren't, and that's because predominantly they've come from a manufacturing background and not a marketing background. So I
Okay,
think
so let me ask you this, because you're making it all sound so sweet. Are you saying that 80% of the printers understand marketing and branding, or 20% of the printers understand marketing and branding?
I'm going to go about 30 if we're just talking about the UK.
So, yeah, so I'm going to go with 80% that don't understand it. And when we talk about not understanding, we are not talking about the ones that are amazing, that know what to do and have been doing it and continue to do it. Those people are running on their own and doing it right. I'm talking about the 80% that we need to convert to help them run their businesses better and bring in more business, right?
Absolutely.
That's really what it's about.
And that is like the educational process, and that's a lot of work that the trade associations try to do in the UK. So, and in fact, I've recently got involved quite extensively with Printing United, and I think they do a very good job of it as well. So in the UK we've got the IPIA, the SMP that I've just talked about, the BPIF, and they're very proactive in supporting. Certainly, the SMP is in supporting print service providers with training programs, peer-to-peer networking groups that can help and support and educate not just the business owners but the team as well. And there's also, you've probably heard, when you've been doing your scrolling on LinkedIn, there's the young person in print, which you'll know, Paul Stead and Liz Bauman. And
I had Paul on a podcast already with a couple of youngins, so that was
yeah,
cool.
so brilliant. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, you did tell me about that actually. And, all of that combined is helping educate people coming into the industry, but also the business owners. I see, but one of my biggest frustrations when you look at trade associations and the importance of being part of those communities is the repetition and the duplication of efforts. So a lot of the work that I've been trying to do in the UK is to stop that and to combine, instead of trade associations being in competition with each other, they can come together and share resources and ultimately have a bigger voice and a far wider reach.
Unfortunately, the trade associations, the trade magazines, the whatevers, they're just all fighting for dollars. And it's actually, I think, amongst some of them, and everyone will have their own side to it, but from the middle guy in the middle, they're just fighting each other, scrapping each other, everyone just bitching and moaning and complaining instead of bringing the whole industry together as a whole.
I disagree with. I don't think it's actually like that. Not over here, anyway.
Okay, well, I'm speaking on the North American side. Maybe in the UK, everybody loves everybody, but in North America, I could tell you that not everybody loves everybody, and there's a lot of people who think that they're legends in their own minds, right? And we need to do stuff. I mean, listen, part of the problem in our industry, and I don't care what side of the pond you're on, is it's an old industry, and it's hard to break the old ways, right? And even though there's some people that are getting older, we're younger, older people. So we don't think, maybe in reference to our parents, like when my father was 60, he wasn't running out all night hanging out. Like he was probably home in bed already at 9 o'clock, right? Where I can come home the next day. But so we have the older people growing up feeling not so old and a little young, but they got to give up some space to the young people because we got to make room for them. So I think that's an underlying problem. And then we aren't listening to the young people enough because we think we know. Is that relatively, would you agree with that to some degree?
I don't think the problem that we've got is that there's not enough young people that actually know about the industry in the first place.
And why is that? Because the old people aren't doing a good enough job of bringing them in.
Does that include you then?
Yeah, absolutely. Although
So
I think I do my part to promote print in the industry and talk to as many people as I can. So you can include me, but um,
so
I'm
we
out there
we,
doing my
we
thing.
all collectively need to do a better job of doing it.
I agree. I agree. That's really all my point is to everyone who's listening. Like, if you're older, you know, bring in some of the young people, listen to their ideas, try stuff. I say it all the time. I try to sit around with my kids and their friends, not to talk because they don't want to hear me, but just to hear what they're talking about, how they're talking, and what they're talking about, because that's the stuff that's happening. And then what happens is, I mean, my kids are in their late 20s. When we sit around with other print people, what do they say? Oh, all the buyers are in their 20s. Well, sit around with your kids and learn what they're talking about. Anyway, don't want to kind of hang on that one and beat around. Um, what do you see in the industry? Like, what's your perspective on the world of print right now? And, how do you see that what the brands and the marketers are doing with it?
It depends. It depends on what, like, if we're talking in the marketing world, it depends on what specific channels. What I can say is, in the last sort of three quarters, event marketing has grown significantly, as has direct marketing. So direct marketing, in terms of, it's a very kind of broad term, but direct mail is obviously part of that. But that's seen a significant increase when you look at the Bellwether report and what they report on a quarterly basis. I think if I just take a step back a second, if I look at Nutshell's portfolio of clients and the type of inbound leads that we get as a result of our marketing, at the moment we're seeing a lot of high-end brands coming forward that want catalogues, small brochures with, amazing photography, copywriting, brand refreshes. So there's been quite a demand for the physical item for high-end, high worth. So, for example, we had a branding job that we've just won for a company called Imagine London, and they're a high-end lighting company. They make bespoke lighting, circa 85 grand just for one single light that's produced and designed. And the way they want to actually communicate is, of course, through their website as well. That's where their target audience would potentially find them in the first instance, but having a beautifully curated, presentable piece that they can hand over to interior designers. So we're seeing a lot of that. In terms of direct mail, the actual volumes are dropping, but we need to be cleverer and cuter in terms of how we do that personalisation, how we do curate what the creative looks like and how it's actually produced, and being a little bit clever and a bit smarter in how that is, and introducing new people to the channel because they've got the appetite to do it. Because the other side to that is that you've got young adults, as we've just been touching on, that are excited by the channel because they're not used to receiving it. And when they do receive it, it's like, oh, wow, this makes me feel special. This is a trusted piece of communication. This actually feels quite nice that I can put my device down and I can pick something up and ponder over it and have it, sitting by my bedside, and I can have a flick through and what I want to purchase at my leisure. So we do see more of that. And then the event space, people don't always associate, certainly in some of the markets that we operate in, with print. But when you're thinking of event, if you think of not just the actual production of a stand or any graphics that are associated, but if you think of the pre, during and post-show marketing for that event and all the marketing that goes around producing printed items that will help get visitors to the stand, give them personal invitations that make them feel special, because it might be a VIP cocktail reception, or it could be the hoarding as walking down the Cannes Lions Croisette on the beach. There's a significant shift in. It was quite funny actually when we were in Cannes. It's littered with tech companies that are advertising their wares. It's like the biggest global advertising event in the world. Yet you've got these tech firms standing on the Croisette like you're in a typical shall we say Spanish beach resort, handing out flyers promoting what they're actually doing. I mean, that really says it all. So yeah, high end. The DM side of things, which needs a little bit more work and attention, and then obviously the event space.
So you mentioned before, like the direct mail volumes coming down. Are we talking about the amount of pieces printed at a time, or are we talking about total direct mail campaigns?
I think total pieces printed at a time.
Okay, so I'm okay with that if people are doing more campaigns.
And if they're being more targeted, even though volumes are
smarter campaigns, right?
Precisely, yeah.
I mean, I would have to think, and I don't know any statistics, but when you get something in your hand, the chances of buying something are probably higher than when you're flipping through on digitally or on your screen. I find when I'm looking at something printed, I'm looking at it longer. I'm looking at the page. I'm reading something. When I'm online, everything is just super fast. And then I even have to go back because, I didn't remember what I just read because I'm going so fast.
I think it's a combination of the two. When you end up making a purchase, you don't necessarily, it wouldn't be from one channel or another. It's a combination and a journey that brand has taken you on.
Maybe. But I mean, if I just look at all the fishing stuff I buy, it's like I pick stuff up, I look, I read the boat, I like the magazine. You go buy a car now, they don't even have car brochures all the time. So the picture, the paint you're looking at that's not in the book might be online, and the online look doesn't look the same color as when you look at a printed piece.
That's
so,
good.
I mean, it's also, I'm partial to print, so maybe I'm a little bit more critical. But I go buy something in the store, I buy a shirt, and all of a sudden there's 3 tags on it. Why are there 3 printed tags? I mean, you have the brand, you have the instructions, and then the price. But there's a reason. So, I'm all for more print. Can never print enough, can never buy enough print. It's
cool though, aren't they? In the printed space, when you think about what depending on the actual brand of the hotel, in terms of what they have positioned in their room. Think of the bathroom when there's, don't throw your towels on the floor unless you want them replaced. You've got like beautiful sort of coffee table magazines. You've got the little tags that go over like bottles or the door.
Funny enough, just in Vegas, actually I've been there a few times in the last few months, and they have no more magazines in their rooms.
Really?
It's the TV. And I actually did a post on a short YouTube post or something. I don't know, it was 10, 15,000 views. And I was saying, oh my God, like, how do I know where to go? Of course, some people are writing on the chat, use your phone, go downstairs, look at the screen. But, I don't want to take the screen into the bathroom with me. I want to take a book. I want to see, I want to look, I want to fold a page. Maybe I'm not in the mood for something now, but later on I want to find a quick reference. On my phone, I never really find anything twice the same. Unless I come across it by accident.
Was that the Fountain Blue then? Because I remember you doing a video the previous year.
Oh, that one was at the Win.
Oh, that was at the Win.
The Fountain Bleu,
the Bleu
in Quebec. Also, no printing.
Yeah, that's a shame.
But it's all good. It's all good. Let me ask you a question. In print, how big are the projects that people do versus what they used to do? Volume for one.
I don't
dollar spend.
I don't know, because we generally get involved in just the creative end. We don't. When Nutshell first started out, we used to do a lot of print management. We don't anymore.
So let me ask you a question. What happened that agencies are no longer handling print? Because they used to handle, back in the day, we did work with agencies and they did a lot of print. They actually handled a lot of the first
Yeah,
runs and things like that. What happened?
I think it's a combination of either them not doing it. So we're designing, bearing in mind when we started 20 years ago, we were only designing for print. Now we've got a
Mm-hmm.
balance of designing for print and digital. And, there's quite a significant shift in terms of us creating it. We do a lot more global work now. So that will just end up getting passed into either the marketing teams like within the respective companies, or they will have preferred suppliers where they just say, or there might be a print management company where they just say, right, this is where it needs to go. So I
So
think
I
the
think in the
years have changed, and there's been obviously the shift in knowledge. There isn't as much comparison, when you look at previous
right.
years ago where I would be dealing with a print buyer as opposed to a marketeer that hasn't got that expertise in purchasing print.
So I would say the reason the agencies aren't doing a lot of print purchasing is because when it all started to change, say 15 years ago or so, they were pretty greedy, putting on 30, 35% on top of the print, plus all the time for press approvals and nonsense like that. And as someone who had people come in to do press approvals, a lot of people killed their time in the day not to go back to the office. So that is definitely was definitely an issue there. Then I think with the big companies and the pharma, and you had these buying groups or these service companies come in like HH Global or I forget some of the other names, which I should probably remember. And what those guys did was they came in and made deals with accounting with those big companies because accounting likes numbers talks and discount talk. And all they did was they just killed the printer, right? I don't know how many printers will say that out loud, but like an HH Global comes in, they'll give you the work, and you got to lower the price to be competitive. And then there's a bill from them. I don't know, they call it service technology, like a percentage every month that comes. So I think there was just a shift and a move around. And at the end of the day, I think the printer just has less money left over from all of that because you've got a third party coming in to buy now. But that's the world in changing. And the HH Globals, they have people in there who don't really understand print. So they have the non-educated print people buying for those other companies that don't have to employ people anymore. So in the end, I think the print industry got a little bit screwed out there. But hey, what are we going to do? We work, we fight around it, right? If you could suggest to printers one or two things that you think that they should be doing all the time regularly, do you have any suggestions? That is,
I think they need to. First one would be attend industry events, great, but also attend industry events that are outside your circle and outside of your. We're very good at an industry at talking to each other, but not necessarily good at talking outside of that circle. So that would be number one. And number two, have a marketing manager. Don't, if you're a business owner, and the lion's share of, print businesses are, even if you can't afford a marketing manager, have a marketing exec or outsource it to, a freelance, if it's unaffordable to be, engaging with an agency, for example, engage with a freelance marketing assistant or a freelance design stroke marketeer who can help you and your business be marketed and promoted in the right way.
Yeah, if I could tell printers one thing that they should do, I'm speaking to the owners and I'm thinking you need to get out and you need to go visit all of your customers, because I'm talking to a lot of printers these days where the owners are just not in touch with the buyers or the other owners of their customers. And then when salespeople come and move, they put themselves in some trouble because they don't have that relationship. And I mean, I was always taught to multi-level sell across the board with the person you're dealing with, but get in with management and above. And today, companies don't follow really salespeople when they leave. So, every print company gets a certain amount of their percentage of their work from their top clients. To print owners, make sure you are in at every level in your customers, so that you know what's going on. And should someone leave, you could swoop right back in there and just pick it up like there's no tomorrow. I think that's some of the biggest hardship. The other thing is, everybody needs to be marketing and putting themselves out there. I'm going to actually, quick story that just happened to me the other day. And things are always happening to me every day. But a lady reaches out to me on LinkedIn from a marketing company. And, me being me, I like to take everybody's call because I believe in karma. And if I take someone's call, hopefully someone will take my call. If you're listening, you get the message. But reaches out to me and I take the call, and she does marketing, and she looked at some of my stuff, but not all of it. And then wanted to talk and know if she could help me out in any way. And I put something together, a little proposal. And I said, sure. I said, no promises, but I'm happy to talk, give you the info. And by doing that, maybe something will come back to me that I'll hear from her that I haven't heard from somebody else. So the first thing was, this marketing person sends me the link and the website, and I'm on my phone. I was actually fishing the other day, and I go on my phone, and her website is not even a mobile website. So a marketing person calling me doesn't have a mobile website. I'm already like, okay, but I get on the Zoom with her and we're talking, and she has her counterpart who was from India, and that's fine because everybody's working around the world. And I mentioned the mobile website, and she says, oh, I know, we have to get it up. I'm like, well, how long have you known? Right? Because you want to do my marketing and help me, but you can't do yours. And then I'm thinking, okay. And then she sent me the pitch deck, and the pitch deck was 1 page and a quarter, just black type. Don't call it a pitch deck if that's the case, because I was expecting a presentation when I opened it. I was actually getting excited because marketing, let me see something new and different. And then I basically get like this, one sheet. And then I go to the website and I click on her Facebook link and it doesn't work. And then I click on her LinkedIn, the icon, and that doesn't work. And then I click on the Instagram icon or something, and none of them worked. After that, I sent her a nice little note and said, listen, I just got to be honest with you and take this, in any way that you want and learning. But when I hit your website and those links didn't work, I can't hire someone or talk to someone about my marketing when they haven't set themselves up properly. Isn't that obscene? Absurd?
And what was her response?
Well, I sent the email this morning because I was deciding if I was going to send it or not send it, just because it's a rejection. But I tried to send it. So I sent it this morning, the rejection with some learning. And, if you want to chat, I'm happy to chat. So I haven't gotten anything back yet. I don't know if I will. I don't need to get anything back. I just hope that she takes that and does something, because we all have to look at what we do and make sure that we are set up properly before we go out there. So I'm going to just take what happened there as a lesson to like I just said, always make sure that my links are working and anything I do is visible and proper. Because when you go to pitch yourself, and people look at you right away, and the first thing is, that doesn't look really good, right? Even if you're a printer, make sure you have a business card that's smashing. Even though everyone says people don't want business cards, I take business cards, and tell me if it's different for you. But when you get back to the office and you put them on the desk, you have them, and at least you remembered who you just saw, versus the person who didn't give you a card, and maybe you'll remember them, maybe you won't. Right?
Agreed.
So always business cards, everybody. And yes, you could put some embellishment on it too. People like that as well. Since everyone's talking about embellishment these days, right? I mean, I'm gonna have a session on embellishment too, to talk about is it worth it? Is it not? If you're a print owner, that'll come later. You design with embellishment?
We like to, but it depends on the brand and the application. A lot of the high-end stuff, absolutely, it gives you the opportunity to go wild.
So let me ask you a question.
I would try to include it. We literally, I just left the office earlier, and we were having this exact same conversation. There's a program that we're working on with Fujifilm, with the Aspire program that they're doing with their designers. They've launched in the US, the design community in the US, and obviously Tactiful, and we've all been party to those conversations as well. And there's such a wealth of stuff that the creative community can do, but they don't know about it. And that brings us back to, I know we keep harping on about it, but in terms of educating the industry and bringing people through, but a lot of graphic designers aren't trained specifically to design for print. And then the whole embellishment side of things is secondary to that. I forgot what the question was now. Sorry.
Well, the embellishment, no designers aren't going to be trained on embellishment because embellishment is new, right? And I mean, truthfully, the embellishment was created by the OEMs that are trying to push the printers to go out and create the market with it, with all these statistics about what sells and what doesn't sell. And then it's wanting the brands to pay more for their print, thinking that things are going to sell more. So I think in a lot of cases, yes. I mean, I love print. I love high end. I love embellishment. Am I sold on it for everybody? Absolutely not.
No.
And I just don't want to see printers get sucked into the conversation, go buy something for $300,000 and then choke on it. Right. But there's definitely a lot of great stuff to be done.
Yeah.
So let me ask you another question.
What it is though, it's again that education and the differentiation between how am I going to market the fact that I've got the capability of a fifth colour and embellishments and whatever fancy thing that we can make the design look amazing and stand out and exquisite, is going back to the marketing side of things, is what actual industries can I serve that are untapped that will embrace this. So it's not, and then being like more targeted, which in turn gives them more differentiation, which turn gives them more revenue and helps them sell more print.
We hope, right? Because what I've seen is, anyway, just there's a lot of printers that just don't have the forget the marketing. They don't have the know-how. They don't have the people. They don't have the skills to go out and do that. And then OEMs are just pushing a lot on them, right? Like, I'm asking a question. Is a fifth or sixth color on a digital press considered an embellishment to you? Or is embellishment just the foils and the UV varnishes and all the other bling bling?
No, as a creative agency and someone that's, I might be completely wrong, but my perception of it is, yeah, fifth colour is a fifth colour. That's not seen as an embellishment to me.
Okay, I agree with you, but there's talk of it as being in the embellishment world, and I don't really think you can mix that you should be mixing the two up because they're completely separate. And then, again, with this, we talk digital because that's the embellishment. I don't think there's a big market for people in production to be using it. It's too expensive if you have to go in the resell.
Depends.
You just got to be careful with what you're doing and smart. Right. But it's definitely not for everyone. But I think if you like it, if you want to get into it, you want to market yourself properly, there's definitely the room to grow in it. But if you're going to get into it, you got to be doing, like, anyone who's getting into it should be going to one of their agency clients or designers and building a whole plan to market themselves, because you have to let the world know that you do it. Right. It's but anyway, that's a whole thing. Okay. Tell me about where were you just recently? For what?
Can Lions, not
Can. I don't know. I say con. You say can. Tomato, whatever.
Yep.
So tell me about the place you were just at and what was going on.
Yeah, so Cannes Lions is a global advertising festival, and I've attended the last 3 years now, and it became abundantly clear to me that being part of a global advertising festival is amazing. Don't get me wrong. The location is amazing. You meet lots of interesting and wonderful people. But there was no representation of our industry there at all, other than the obvious, as in terms of our industry would have built the stands, would have built all the hoardings would have produced all the collateral that was on stands and the labels that are on the copious amounts of, rosé wine bottles, etc. You get the gist. But no actual representation as a channel, direct mail, door drop, partially addressed mail, however you want to put that into the advertising mix at that festival at all. So I've spent the last 12 months communicating that to various trade bodies in the UK. I've done a lot of work in the SNP. Anyway, the result of it is that Royal Mail Market Reach came over to Cannes. We did a round table with other brands, agencies, and we entitled it Return to Sender, is direct mail the new digital disruptor? So we had people on that table that weren't part of the world of print, and it was a big eye opener for them. We had people that were involved in the world of print and massive advocates of it. So it was quite a nice balance in terms of seeing that conversation unfold and how people responded to it. And then we had the drum moderating it and did quite a cool, you might have seen it on LinkedIn, article that followed up. Anyway, so that was the start, and I feel like that was a real milestone of us, going back to what I was saying earlier, of us stepping outside of talking to each other and stepping outside of our comfort zones in the industry and going, hello, we're quite a cool advertising channel here. Can we be part of your gang? So that I felt was a real stepping stone towards doing that. And who knows, it was Royal Mail representing the UK. Who knows, other postal providers and other direct mail agencies, etc., will hopefully get involved next year.
Can you have them bring a section in for print, direct mail, and advertising on paper?
There's conversations being had at the moment.
I mean, really, when you look around the signage sector,
maybe you should come over and do it. Maybe you should come over and do it, Warren. Just walk down the beach. I said, maybe you should come over and do it. Just walk to the beachfront with one of your placards.
Tell me when to be there. I'd be happy to try that before I get ejected. Yeah. But got to be pretty quick, right? Do the agencies where you are get together, talk a lot about print and what's going on in the world of print or anything else, or are you all more just independent and do your own thing?
No, there's a peer group that, well, in fact, there's quite a few different peer groups, but I have got a group that I'll get together with, probably not loads, maybe 2 or 3 times a year, where we all come together and have a chat about various things. But a lot of us now have had to diversify because that's life, in the same way as the really successful print service providers have diversified. So they wouldn't necessarily, the agencies that I network or my sort of peer-to-peer groups, they're not, specifically, they're not graphic design agencies specifically design print. They might be agencies that have recognised the value in going, oh, actually, no, I'll outsource the graphic design to Nutshell and the SEO to such and such, and they're built that they've got a full service agency offering, but some of the stuff they'll outsource.
Right, but they still need to understand what's going on because they're the outsourcer, right?
They're
still selling their clients the ideas.
They would rely on their partner to do that, and then there's an element of trust in that partnership, and they'll bring you into those meetings so you can do. There isn't certainly that I know of any in the UK that graphic design agencies. A lot of the freelancers, don't get me wrong, do, but not creative agencies now that are designing specifically for print and only print because of that diversity.
Got to get a little group going, drink and print, or have some fun evening or something, just to have print games or something.
I'll let you organise.
Everyone has games. Well, no, I don't want to be in charge of that anymore. We get some young people to organize the fun and do it a different way. Maybe we need a print video game out there or something. So the kids, if they're sitting at home on the couch, they could, play something with a printing press or some finishing or something. Because the equipment we have is pretty cool. If we bring more young kids in, they'll see that it's like video games. It's more pushing buttons and people aren't getting dirty. Right? It's a lot of fun. So I as a printer, when I was a printer, there's nothing I love more than marketing. I love to do the marketing and send the people out onto the street with it, not to ask for orders, but just to go show everyone what we're doing. Let them know that we're in the game. And by doing that, we're also letting them know that we understand. And then you're able to build relationships between, say, your customer and an agency even. Although we had a small design studio, it was more just for putting things together. It wasn't about really creative thought and long-term projects and where it's going to go. But there was definitely a need. But yeah, no, I think I had the best times teaming up with agencies because they get to go, well, you guys are a little crazy. I thought printers were crazy, but I think the agency people are a little crazier.
Yeah,
no?
You need to be when you've got to be creative. It's when the best ideas come out.
Oh, I think so. I think to be in the printing industry, you got to be a little crazy and creative at the same time, right? It's like it's crazy. It's crazy industry. The whole world needs us, and somewhere along the way, we've commoditized ourselves and took the service end of it out. We still service, we just don't get the charge for the service like others.
Yeah,
but we work on that one. Everyone's got to. I guess the embellishment side, you get to raise your prices a little for the bling, so that's pretty good. Where do you see Nutshell going in the future?
Retirement.
So retirement is good.
No,
are there people
going? I have got the most amazing team, and I wouldn't have got through the last 20 years if it wasn't for them. I've got people that have been with me from the start and have been with me for like many, many years. And I think, where would I like to see Nutshell? I'd like to. I'm not close to retirement, by the way. Not anywhere near close. So there's a while to go yet. I would like to see Nutshell be recognised for really championing the industry that we love and what we do and what we've been talking about today. That's what I'd like our legacy to be. But also, I'm sure we'll come on to it a bit, but also that legacy helping the next generation come through, and a little bit about the charity. So that's what I'd like us to be known and recognised for. I guess we hopefully are to some degree in the spaces that we work in. We're very grateful for all the customers and opportunities that we've had over the years. I'd like us to be part of another like-minded organisation that complements what we do as well. I think that would see a nice significant shift. And as you know, Warren, the time that I've spent over in the States, we do a lot of work globally now. So I don't know, maybe an office might pop up somewhere your way.
Oh, that's okay.
Or a bit further.
Yeah, I don't think anyone needs to retire if you're having fun.
Exactly.
I think you think retirement when you're not having fun anymore and you're not liking what you're doing, and it's the next step of a change.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know what retirement would be. I couldn't retire because I'm always bouncing off the walls. But if you're having fun and you're feeling creative and you're, moving with the group, then who wants to retire? And I figure for me, I'm good to run all day and all night, and I'll just rest when I'm dead. No point in resting now. We don't know how much time we have left. Not that I'm counting on a short time, but whatever time it is, I want to max out everything.
This is very true.
It's all good. How many people in the agency?
10 of us.
Oh, perfect. How long's the average person been there?
10 years.
Okay, that's a good number. So low turnover.
Yeah.
So then you're a lot nicer than I thought.
We have a lot of people that come, well, not a lot because there's 10, but we have people that have come. We've got 3 people now that have left and then wanted to come back and have taken them back.
You've taken them back?
Yeah.
Yeah, by the way, I don't think there's anything wrong with taking anyone back depending on how they left. right? If a person ever leaves, or if a person ever left me because they had an opportunity they thought was greater, who am I to stop them from taking that opportunity? And if it didn't work out and they're good, I'm happy to take it back,
Yeah.
especially if you know who they are. Some companies have this thing, well, if you leave, you're gone. But I used to say to people, well, oh my God, what a great opportunity. I would love that opportunity, but I'm stuck here because I own the place.
Yeah, you're going to love this story. So, given what we were talking about young people in print, when COVID, whenever COVID was, 5 years ago, is it 5 years ago? And the government in the UK did this programme called the Kickstart Scheme, and it allowed you, we did it by the IPIA, which is the Independent Print Industry Associations, and they got a project scheme together, which meant that each of the individual members could take on young adults that were in unemployment, and you train them up on a secondment. The government support some of their salary, and they stay with you for 6 months. So you teach them the tools of the trade, and they leave in 6 months. 6 months, fingers crossed, like work ready and can pick themselves up a job. Anyway, so we took a few on. This one particular lady, she's copywriter, more marketing exec side of things and creative. Spent our 6 months. She waved her off on her merry way, and she landed herself a job at a holiday company, doing a lot of their writing for their catalogues and websites, etc. And then fast forward 5 years. We then just recently advertised for a marketing exec role. She applied, and literally we probably had, I'm going to say, in the region of about 60 to 70 applicants, and she's got the job. So she's coming back.
Amazing.
She was like originally part of that story, so I was absolutely delighted. Can't wait for
she's gained all this knowledge, education, experience, and how cool. It's almost like, and both people are happy that the team is back together again, so to speak.
Exactly. Right? Yeah. So everyone's excited to have her back.
Cool. Love that. Love that. Yeah, good teams are hard to build, and when you build them, you got to keep them.
Precisely.
Right? That's today. Awesome. Actually, just average age in your agency?
Oh my God.
I have to ask.
I'm going to say late 30s.
Okay, fair enough.
Mid to late 30s.
Okay, everybody's still got a lot of energy, so it's good.
Yeah.
And do you do the pub crawls as an agency, or?
We do. Yeah, we've got, well, our office is on a high street, a typical sort of market town high street. So there's a lot of pubs. It's actually the high street that have you heard of the Cock and Bull story? You know how there's
not.
Right? No. Okay, we'll move on from that because it would take too long to explain. I'll explain that one afterwards.
Okay, perfect. Cool. Okay, so before we wrap up, any final words for all the listeners out there that have been patiently listening to us? I hope.
I just want to say thank you for listening, because I feel like we've gone.
Nobody listens to you.
And yeah, but if anybody knows Warren, then they know how passionate he is about print. Thank you very much for listening. Have I got any words of wisdom? Let's just keep coming together as an industry and banging the drum for the same things that we all actually believe in and fundamentally want to drive forward and actually take action. So if you're part of trade associations, councils, communities where you have got a responsibility to do it, no matter how big or how small, make sure that you actually do, because that's the impact that, if everybody's doing it, is going to make the biggest impact.
Love it. I really have nothing to add to that one. Love when you have the agency people promoting us and telling us to come together and work hard. So kudos on that one. To everybody, I hope you enjoyed the conversation coming from the other side of the pond. I know I did. Lucy, always great talking with you. Everybody else, if you want to hear something, let me know. If you have an idea, let me know. If you have someone, or if you want to be on the show, let me know. Otherwise, just to let you know, I love print like nobody else's business, and we'll be back next week. Thanks. Have a great one. Thank you, Lucy.
Thank you very much, Warren.